If you want to create your very own text-to-video Telegram bot, then you're in the right place. In this video, we're going to be covering how to set up this n8n workflow, how to create the Telegram bot, how to do the request to Google's VEO3, how then to get that video and send it back to Telegram. This builds on the last lesson or the last video that I recorded, where it looked very similar to this, but we were doing text to image. I'll link that video, you can check that out. What we're going to do, after creating this workflow, you'll be able to send a video prompt in Telegram to the AI agent. That will refine your prompt and then send it to Google's VEO3 via Fal AI, and then when it's complete, the workflow will send you the video back to Telegram. We're going to use Google's VEO3 Fast. That works at about $3.20 per 8-second video clip. That's if you've got audio with it. And then you can also access Google's VEO3, the full model. It's about $6 per 8-second clip. And the quality's about 20% better. When I'm testing, I haven't seen really much of a difference. I think Google's VEO3 Fast works very well. In the previous video, we did have a look at how to set up the Telegram bot. Let's take a look at an example.
Guys, it's such a beautiful day to hit the water. The waves are looking perfect.
Hey, just wanted to share this quick moment. Hope you're having a good day.
Here's a couple of the example videos. Firstly, let's go over how to set up the Telegram bot. You'll be able to skip ahead a little bit if you did do the previous lesson. The way to do that is to go onto Telegram, find Botfather with the little blue check mark. It's got over 3 million monthly users. And this is Telegram's official way to make chatbots. You want to type is /new bot and then follow the instructions. That will sort of begin a chat. The important bit is here, we're going to need a couple of things from this. So this is the link that will open up that chat. That's how you'll communicate with your AI agent. And then we need this API key here to set up that credential. Another thing that we're going to need is your Fal AI key. If you don't have an account, you don't have any API key, what you need to do, head over to fal.ai, create account, and then if you go to API keys, I've actually just trimmed this down because it's just got my API keys on it. So we'll go API keys and then add new. This will come up, you just give your API key a description, click create key. Something to bear in mind, just keep those API keys safe, treat it like a password. If someone gets hold of that, they'll be able to access your credits. On that, that's how Fal API works. I quite like using that because you don't need a monthly subscription. You just top up with credits. And then we'll get to that in the workflow. This is just how whereabouts you put those credentials in. So looking at the workflow, we've got the trigger will be on a message from Telegram. All of these nodes that we've got here, if we click the plus icon, search for any of those, so we can search Telegram, and then we've got different Telegram actions, and we want to find trigger, and then on message. If you want to find AI, there's your AI agent, you click that, pop on the workflow. These nodes here, this is a HTTP request. So we can find that if we type HTTP. Same with wait, and so on. We won't go through that in the rest of the video. So any of these nodes, you can find those here with a plus icon. Setting up the Telegram. Once you've got that on there, we need to set up your credential. You can click create new credential. Give it a name. I name mine the same as I've put in the names for the name of the Telegram. Make sure good naming conventions help keep you organized. And then with the access token, you paste that in there, click save. And then we want to see a nice green banner come up there saying that the connection's been successful. Now we drop your AI agent node in. And in this one, what we need to do is have a couple of prompts. So the user's instructions, that will be fed from Telegram. So it's just a brief description of what, this is your prompt, this is what you want the bot to do. And in here, you can just pause the video and copy this. This is explaining to the agent what we want it to do. Also connected to that, we've got the think tool that helps improve the output from the AI agent. It can stop for a minute, check its answers, and then we've connected it to an AI model, and we've done that through Open Router. We're using 4.1 milli, seems to be working fine, but you can play around with other models if there's one that you prefer. If you haven't got an Open Router API key, then to set that up, you just head on to Open Router, we go home and then go into keys, create a new key, and then we can paste that. We do create new credential, give it a name, put in your key, and then it will test that, and then hopefully you'll get a green box and that will say that's connected. Now we need to do the request to Fal AI. We're going to post a request, and you can find all of this information here, this URL, if you go onto their website, and then we click onto API here. So this is how you can change the thing. So you've got image editing, and then, oh hang on, sorry, I'm on Nano Banana there, that was from the last video. So we've got text to video fast, and then text to video, so that would be the full model, and then the fast model, like the cheaper one that we were talking about. Then you could do image to video, and then on the fast and on the normal. We've got Playground. We can actually test any of the prompts. If you put a prompt in here, you can generate the model from the site. Or then API, we go through the API documentation, and that's things like the URLs here, and this will explain how to set up your credential. If we take a look back here, if you did follow along on the last video, then you'll already have one. You can just select the same one. If you don't, and you follow those steps that are in the beginning of the video, you just click create new credential, and then put that information in here, and we give it a name. That's set to generic credential type, header of your credential, and then we want to send body, send as JSON. And then what happens is we take the prompt, comes from the AI's output. There's going to be a dynamic value in here, and then this other information has all come from the API documentation. So if you want to make that easy, you can just pause the video here, you can copy that. It takes a few minutes to be able to create this. When the model's working, we just want to put in a wait node, wait for 3 minutes. Now we want to get the video status. Now what happens here, just check what we're doing. Oops. We can see the status here. This URL comes from the documentation, but you notice the section that's in green, that's a dynamic value. And what we want to do is that will be your request ID. If you've just taken the URL from their website, there's a placeholder in there, you can just remove that and then drag that and drop it in there, and then this dynamic value. And if that's red, then there's something wrong with it. You need to make sure that's on green. Okay. There's no body or anything to send on there. You just make sure that's connected to the same credential. In here we've got an if node. We see that if it's completed, so if completed exists, then it will go on to the next node. If it's not completed, then what will happen? It will loop round back to the beginning of the wait node, wait another 3 minutes, and then try and get the status again. And we'll do that until it's ready. And then in this one, this is where we're going to get the video. We do a request. This comes from the documentation, and you see the dynamic value here. We've got request ID, and there'll be a if you get it from the documentation again, there's going to be a placeholder there. We will just delete that and then drag this across. So then we've got the request ID. There's no body or anything to send on that. That will get the video, and then we need the Telegram node, send a video, and then all we need to do is select the bot, message, send video, then get the video URL and the chat ID. Let's take a look at that. As you execute this step by step, you'll get the input and then the output sections from the dynamic values from what you've got on your schema down the side here. We can get the request ID like we did before. What we're going to do is we're going to get the chat ID. If you open up on this Telegram trigger, you'll find one down there. It's the very bottom one that says chat ID, and then we can drag that across. And then the same with the request ID. You've got the chat ID goes in there, the video URL you'll drag across. And then that's it, that would be complete. If you've got any questions, please feel free, leave them in the comments. If there's any improvements that you think that I could make, if there's a way that I could do it clearer, I'm open to the bit of constructive criticism. If there's anything that I can do to make this easier for you, let me know. If you manage to, let me know in the comments if you create your own Telegram video bot. Thanks for taking the time to watch.